It's 2014 and it's a brand new year and a grand new start. Have you made your resolutions? Whether it's to cut down on food intake, exercise more, or go to the doctor more, we all have them. But how do we stick to them well into the new year? Dr. Jen Caudle, a board-certified family medicine physician, joins me now with some practical advice for us. Dr. Caudle, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you have some wonderful tips. You practice medicine, and you certainly see a lot of people who have complaints about what they didn't do and what they need to do, right?
Right.
So what are some of your ideas that can actually help people have that fresh new start for the new year?
Well, first of all, I should say Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Yeah, we have to
2014.
do that. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. I think one of the most important first steps that we can do is to make New Year's resolutions. You know, there's a lot of talk about it, but it's funny, I've talked to a lot of people I know, and many people actually don't make New Year's resolutions. I think it's important. Make them. Set some goals for this year, and I think it's really important to write them down. But one of the first resolutions I think that we can all maybe think about is our body, our health, and certainly our weight and what we take in and how much exercise we do.
You know, I think that's so important. And oftentimes people make resolutions, but they don't keep to them.
That's so true.
So maybe it's just talking about making goals that you really want to carry out through the year, and maybe sometimes short-term goals versus I'm going to do a whole year of whatever. Little steps sometimes get us there better.
Absolutely, the manageable sizes. When it comes to exercise, I have a lot of patients who want to exercise in the new year, and that's a good thing. We know that obesity is an epidemic in this country. Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. So exercise is paramount to all of us. But for a lot of people, you know, the idea of going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week is maybe not the most realistic, especially if you've been sitting on the couch for the last year.
So forget about being a couch potato, folks, and really decide to, and you know, you can move in your chair. We can move at our desk, we can take a walk, take a break from whatever we're doing.
Well, that's some of the things that I recommend. Start small. I call them baby steps, and I mean literally steps. First of all, park far away from your house or from the grocery store. Get some extra steps in. Take the stairs. Everybody's always heard this, but it's important to reinforce it. A friend of mine actually got a pedometer for Christmas, and she's been marking her steps like you wouldn't believe. That can be a really great motivator. But little baby small steps. Work out with friends, do activities with friends, and find things that you like to do.
You know, I think that's wonderful, Dr. Caudle. I also think working out with your family.
Yes,
decide to take walks with your family, take walks after dinner, bicycle riding, make some of those activities, fun activities that have exercise
in them. It doesn't then feel like exercise. It feels like an outing with the family or with friends. And
it's building that family cohesion at the same time.
It really is. And I think you really brought up a really great point where sometimes these goals seem so lofty. Start to exercise, people say, well, where do I start? And I think these are really small, manageable steps that people can say, okay, well, I'll walk a little bit more. Maybe the family will go for a bike ride once a week, and we'll start doing that, or we'll go for a walk around the neighborhood. So those are small things for exercising I think can be very helpful.
And what about healthy eating? How does that fit into it?
Healthy eating, I mean, part of our health, and we're talking about obesity, talking about heart disease and health, exercise is a big part, but what we put in our bodies is equally as important. And you know, I often say to my patients, you know, if it tastes really, really good, it's probably not that healthy for you. I think one of the things that we can do nowadays is really pay attention to what we're putting in our mouth. Count those calories.
But you know what?
Yes.
I think eating healthy, you get accustomed to it, and it begins to taste good. Carrots are delicious. There are some wonderful greens that are delicious, and you can teach yourself or train yourself to really get accustomed to it and really like it.
And you're absolutely right, and that's what our goal is. Our goal is to make those small changes that will get us to a lifestyle that we're more accustomed to and that become more palatable. And you know, again, I like to start where a lot of my patients are, where a lot of people are that I meet. As a family practitioner, I see everybody every day. And let's say I speak with a patient who eats donuts 3 or 4 days a week for breakfast. Well, maybe that's not ideal. But maybe what you do is you say, okay, I have donuts 4 days a week. Let me start by only having them 2 or 3 times a week. Even small changes like that can make a big difference, and cooking at home can be helpful.
Maybe just a half a donut.
Maybe just a half. You're so ambitious. I love it. I love the ambitiousness. Yes. Or if you can do it, go to a half a donut. So, but that's what we talk about.
Now, what would happen if all your patients were following this advice and they didn't need a doctor anymore? How would you feel?
No, everybody actually needs a doctor. And you know, I have a lot of patients that have been for years. They've gone for years without going to a doctor. They finally come in, maybe because they're having surgery or something else brings them in. And I say, well, gosh, you haven't been to the doctor in years. You know, why not? They say, well, I haven't been sick. I haven't needed one. But that's a myth. Okay, yeah, I'm glad to hear that you haven't been sick because that's what we want. But the truth is that even if you're well, you still need to go to the doctor at least once a year.
You know, I think that's so important because often there are conditions or even diseases that go undetected. You may feel great, but it's like you said, it's really important to have that annual checkup.
And
so thanks for that.
Not only for that reason, but also for, remember, you still need immunizations. Shots are not just for kids. As an adult, there's a pneumonia shot, the shingles shot, the tetanus shot. There's immunizations that you need, as well as screening things like mammograms, colonoscopies, and blood work as well. So in addition to finding things that you may not know are there, we also need to keep everyone up on their preventative care. So go to the doctor. Even if you feel well, you still got to go.
Right, and I totally agree. And it's important to make those changes because you feel differently, more empowered. And again, as you said, we're into 2014. So take that first step, those baby steps, and move forward and start feeling good about yourself.
Right, absolutely. And you know, the other thing that I want to mention is the importance of the mind, body, spirit,
Yes.
You know, combination. As a family doctor, one thing I've learned, if I haven't learned anything else, which I have, but one thing I know is that how your body acts and your health in your body often depends on your mind.
You know, that's so true. Thank you so much, Dr. Caudle. Your mind and your body work so much together in tandem, so it's really very important.